Hello all. So welcome to this particular video by PrepBee. In this particular video, we will talk about how to basically structure your tell me something about yourself answer. This is the most crucial answer when it comes to any personal interview that you will sit for, be it your B school interviews or be it your placement interviews. This question is basically an opportunity for you to give your right direction to your interview. You can build your answer upon the pointers that you would want to discuss upon. You would put the pointers that you don't want to discuss under the carpet. So this particular question is very important, and to be honest, this can be make or break for a lot of people, because if your interview goes into the wrong direction in the very start of the particular interview, then it would be very hard to come back. Because just imagine you have just started your interview and literally the start has gone into a wrong direction. There would be flood of questions that you don't want to discuss about, or the questions that you were not prepared about. So it is very important to have a very structured, a very well planned tell me something about yourself answer, and then a backing to each and every point that you discuss, right? So let's go ahead with the video. See, firstly, as we have discussed in our video that you have to prepare a white paper. It is discussed in our one of the previous video in which we have discussed in depth about how you have to structure your GDPI preparation. So if you have not went through that particular video, firstly you go into that particular video, watch that video completely so that you get an idea that how the GDPI and that ecosystem looks like in total, and how you have to prepare each and everything in a very structured manner. Right? So first step for preparing for any HR answer was that you have to firstly prepare a white paper where you would list down each and everything that matters to you in your life. It can be positive, it can be negative. Post that, we will divide each of the things into two buckets: things that we want to discuss about, things that we don't want to discuss about, and post that we will bring on the structure to each and every answer. All right. So now, boiling down to the structure of what should be the right strategy to frame a tell me something about yourself answer. See, to be honest, your profile can be divided into two parts. I'll tell you what are those two parts. First part would be the common part. Now, what do I mean by the common part? It is basically those attributes of your profile that is literally common to literally each and every candidate who is sitting for interview on that particular day or in that particular panel set. Right? Second thing would be your USP. That is your unique selling proposition. This is something that you have to highlight. This is something in which you have to build on different hooks so that the panelists can pick on those hooks, the panelists can start discussing upon those hooks, and your interview literally goes into the right direction. All right. Now, let me firstly discuss about what are the things that you have to encompass while discussing the common factors. And mind you, you don't have to miss out on any of these because these are also very important. First thing is your personal details, like what is your name. See, if your name has already been discussed in the interview, or if the panelist has greeted you like, welcome XYZ, please take your seat. No need to take your name once again, right? It will look like you have mugged up an answer and you have to just go into that flow itself. If your name has not been discussed, you can discuss about your name. Or for on the contrary part, if your name has a very unique meaning to it, then you can start your particular answer by my name is this and it means this, right? So you have to be mindful of these small things, and these are very basic things. So please keep them in mind. You have to be on your foot, and you have to be really mindful that if there is something that has already been discussed in the interview, you won't be repeating that thing because you have not mugged up the answer. You have just curated all the important points that you would want to discuss. See, so in personal detail, you can talk about your name, your place of birth, etc., etc. See, if your place of birth or if your native city is really famous for something, you should definitely mention that, right? So these are certain hooks that panelists might pick up, might not pick up, but we don't have to back out from giving different hooks at different aspects of our answer. Now, going ahead, you have to talk about your educational detail in very much crisp manner. I have done my schooling from this particular school. Going ahead, I did my undergrad from this particular college. Now, this. If there, and by this, I mean if there are any extracurricular activities, I would discuss them going ahead in the video. Now, if you have any work ex, any internships, please mention them in this particular section of your answer. I am not saying that explain each and everything, because this is a common mistake that some students do, that they tend to explain their work ex completely. No, you don't have to explain your work ex. You can just simply mention that I was working in this particular company, this was my role. And if you want to really highlight something in one line, you can highlight that in under the purview of your role, what exactly were you doing. Nothing more than that. You don't have to explain your KPIs in detail in that particular part of your answer, right? And going ahead, you can talk about your goal and aspirations. Like, this will help you to really complete your answer in totality, because if you talk about your goal and aspirations in a very short and crisp manner, that can be a very good hook for the panelists to discuss about. Because obviously, whatever you have mentioned till now, firstly, it is common. See, any candidate sitting for the interview would have a name, would have a place of birth, would have done basic education, would have done UG. Now, work experience is something that can matter from person to person, but internships are also very common. So it is about showcasing the practical exposure that you have, and that can be done through multiple reasons. So in this particular part of your answer, if you discuss about your future goals and aspirations in one or two line, and mind you, just a caveat, if you are very clear about your future goal and aspiration, then only we have to discuss them. If you are not really clear, then we would skip this particular session. All right. Now, coming to the particular section which talks about your USP. Now, this is something you have to pay a lot of attention, because USP should be highlighted in a proper manner, because now this is something which will give the right direction. The basic things that you have told are more or less already there with the panelists by the virtue of the form that you would have submitted, or whatever details you have submitted on the website, right? But the USP part is something which you would have to highlight by your own charisma. So what could be the part of USP thing? See, any key achievements that you would have while you're undergrad, while you're schooling, winning Olympiads, winning inter-school competition, state level competition, you have been part of any clubs or committee, etc., etc. If you have done anything of this sort, please mention them and please try to highlight them. All right. Second thing would be, second thing would be basically what are the extracurriculars and what are the co-curriculars that you have done. Now, firstly, understand what is the basic difference between extracurriculars and co-curricular. See, co-curriculars are something that you do in supplementation of your already existing curriculum. For example, you are studying something, now you are participating in certain Olympiads. That is co-curricular. Now, what is extracurricular? You are studying in a school again, and now you're participating in a badminton competition. That is extra. That is extra to your particular curriculum that has been there, right? That is not supporting your curriculum, but it is a added on advantage to your profile. So you have to understand the difference between extracurricular and co-curricular, and going ahead, you have to mention them accordingly. Now, you can also mention your key interest in this particular part, because key interest is something that would be very unique to you. And key interest, someone could say that, see, there are 10 people, everyone loves playing badminton. But do you think that everyone of the person sitting that day who loves to play badminton have same sort of passion, same sort of charisma for that sport? My answer would be definitely no. It is very rare to have same aligning charisma over the group of 10 people. So it is up to you how you highlight your key interests. Try to highlight interests that are active in nature, that are not passive in nature. For example, watching Netflix, etc., etc. These are certain things that are passive. Watching a cooking show is a passive thing. But watching a cooking show, learning new recipes and trying them by yourself, that is something active. So try to mention key interests that are active in nature. Alright. So these are the basic things that you have to keep in mind. And what I feel is that when you do this particular answer in a very structured manner and you keep in mind all the points that are mentioned by me in the video prior to this, so all of the points would be covered. The next thing that is very important, and that can also be a challenge for some of the students, is, see, now I have all the points ready in my mind, but how do I structure that? Now, structuring is something that can come very handy by the virtue of different frameworks. See, to be honest, frameworks are something you can see on our screen. This is our USP. We try to teach all of these answers through frameworks so that it becomes easy for the student. You can do it very easily. See, you have listed down all the points. Now you see, and now you can know that how your profile looks like. Going ahead, you just see a framework, you see, okay, yeah, this is the framework that somewhat aligns with whatever my profile is. Let me fit in, let me plug in all the details that I have in that particular framework. You will at least have a skeletal structure. Post that, you can have reviews with your mentor or any help that you have. You can definitely get it reviewed, and then the cosmetic changes comes into play, right? So where the people do mistake is that they directly frame the answer and then they look for cosmetic changes. But the main idea of building the base, the main idea that you have not messed upon anything important, and more importantly, you have not mentioned anything that you don't want to discuss. All of this has already been missed, and this is only possible when you prepare a white paper. See, now if you are not really sure that how exactly we have to prepare a white paper, and please you help us to do that, you can comment down in the section below that white paper help. Just comment down white paper help, and we can probably come up with a detailed video where I myself would be preparing a white paper for me, right? And post that white paper, we can build on our HR answers, we can do the cosmetic changes. That is a never ending, that is basically a perpetual cycle, to be honest. But white paper is something you should always be handy. That is something that can help you in n number of ways. And this is not just for your B school interview, this is also for your placement interview. So white paper will help you a lot when you will sit for your placement interviews while you're college, right? When you have to make certain changes in your HR answers, depending on the additions that you have done in your profile while you have spent 2 years or 1 year for that matter in your B school. This white paper will come very much handy, right? So first step will always be create a white paper. Second step, list down all the pointers that I mentioned in this particular video. Third step would be try to structure it. If you don't have a framework in your mind, try to structure it. And now someone would ask that what exactly do we mean by structure? See, structure is nothing, it is just flow. Okay, so I'll give you an example. See, if you are mentioning about your schooling, and if you have certain achievements while you're schooling, so it won't be like that you mention about your schooling, then you mention about your undergrad, then you again come to your achievements in schooling, then you again come to your achievements in undergrad. This is not how it works. What you have to do is that I did my schooling from XYZ school. While my schooling, I also had certain achievements. Going ahead, I did my undergrad in ABC college, and while my college tenure, I had certain achievements. I was part of XYZ clubs and committees. So this is how you set up a flow. And see, flow helps you to not create certain abrupt hooks, right? Because abrupt hooks can also like sort of catch the attention of the panelist, and then they can start questioning you on certain things, right? So creating a flow is very much important. It looks like you have well prepared your answer. You are a person who really thinks a lot about things and who has a very much clarity, right? Because just try an exercise. This is exercise for all of you. Take this as a challenge. As soon as this video ends, give introduction of yourselves for 1 minute or 1.5 minutes. Try. Let's see how many of you can deliver on the spot introduction. See, this was a very basic thing. It is just about you. But it would be very hard to speak for 1.5 minutes, that to all the relevant points that you would want to discuss about. This is why we say that this particular question is very important when it comes to interviews and when it comes to preparation, right? So all the best from our side. This video ends over here. If you have any doubts, you can write that in the comment box. And please join our Telegram community. We have daily discussions over all of these things. We try to help out that community in n number of ways, by the virtue of live sessions, by the virtue of discussion sessions. If you want to be part of those sessions, just join that particular community. And as mentioned by us, we are also providing one free mock PI and one free GD. So how it will work is that if you are top two performers in that particular GD, then you will excel to for the mock PIs. And from amongst the two people who are the top performer in the GD, the winner will get our AYN course for free. Yes, you heard it right, for free. So do participate in mock GDs. Be it you win it or not, it will be a good exposure for you, because there are a lot of people who are already participating. All the good cat percentile, all the good people who are expecting good calls, they are literally practicing amongst themselves. So if you want to be part of that head rush, if you want to be part of that particular exposure, join our community. Cheers, all the best.